He literally begs the guy who he left to die to save him. He charges up for his final stand, and with everything on the line, he releases. You guessed it, he got peed on by a literal dragon. Yay, let's go on an adventure. Yeah, this is where our adventure begins. So a team of spirited adventurers decide to enter a dungeon, but they stop on the way to get two decoys to act as bait. Following them is a redhead guy who looks uneasy about using decoys. A guy who has colorful hair, is righteous and also strong? I think we found our boy, the main character. Anyway, he and his team take the decoys and enter the dungeon to start the raid. But it immediately takes a turn for the worst when they are surrounded by monsters. In a show of pure righteousness, the party leader orders the two decoys to attract the monsters while he and his teammates escape. But of course, the protagonist wouldn't let that happen. Oh, he does. And very quickly too. And guess who didn't even let out a fart?
Gunther? Sorry.
Not you, Gunther. I meant this guy. After all the talk, he didn't walk the walk. Anyway, a very short while later, the monsters are once again hot on the party's tail. For them to catch up this quickly, we all know what must have happened to the decoys, right? So with that, the party gets it in with the monsters, but get picked off one by one, till only the redhead is left. With this situation, he makes a last-ditch effort to break out of the encirclement, but fails. He gets hit with an attack and lays on the floor powerless. But just before he passes on, he gets a rude awakening. One of the decoys, a guy with black hair, who he thought was already dead, is standing right in front of him. And just when I thought he couldn't go out even more sad, he surprises me. He literally begs the guy who he left to die to save him. And if that's not bad enough, he starts giving commands when he sees no movement from the decoy. Don't just look, help me, you bastard! Now let's compare from before the raid when he was comfortable and now with the dungeon when he's in danger. People really do change when they are pushed to the edge, don't they? Anyway, the decoy smiles as the redhead still hasn't noticed his predicament. He had already been digested up to the chest, and with his last few breaths, he smiles with schadenfreude and tells the decoy that they will meet in hell. Then he gets completely swallowed. Pause! Man, this guy just can't help but go out sad. Anyway, with only the decoy remaining, we see a spectacular scene of the monsters getting completely obliterated by him. And then he drops a bombshell I wasn't expecting at all. The place I died wasn't here. Ooh, I get what this is now. What amazing redirection by the author. We were made to believe the redhead was the protagonist with just a few cues like a surprise when decoys were mentioned. While all along it was this guy, the decoy, who was the protagonist. Excellent work. Everyone clap it up for Blue Lobster, man. Clap it up for Blue Lobster and Beat Out. So with that absolute bombshell dropped, we get a flashback of his previous life. He was a part of a team of heroes who were the last one standing in the fight against the three-headed dragon, Horntail. In that devastating future, humanity lost and all heroes met grueling ends. Standing on the sacrifices of his teammates, he was the only one left standing. Well, barely. He charges up for his final stand, and with everything on the line, he releases. Or at least he wished he did. He couldn't even get it to come out. Pause. And with that, the only thing inevitable was right in front of him. Horntail. Bro's name was supposed to sound hard, but it just sounds like a mixie. As he closes his eyes in defeat, he's rudely awakened by a splash of water on his face. You guessed it. He got peed on by a literal dragon. Just kidding. And just like that, he had regressed to the past. This might be the most inexplicable regression I've ever seen. There's literally no explanation given for it. Anyway, his name is Elpam, and he's back to the past, 6 years ago to be exact. At this time, he was still a little decoy. So here's who decoys are. We'll explain using Elpam's story. His dad was very sick, and he had no money, so he took a loan. But there was something tied to it. A contract that says he must enter slavery if he can't pay back. And that's where he's been for the last 6 years before being taken by the adventurer team. You should get the rest of the story. Anyway, with the last adventurer down and the monsters wiped out, he returns to the Gaffer Merchant Union, the GMU for short, the exact same people who put him under slavery. Wait, why is he going back to them? He's going back to change his slave status and become an adventurer. So that's why he meets with this guy, Abyss. You can have an F rank contract. No, I want an E rank. This boy must be crazy. How about this? Prove your worth. If you can clear this gate that has killed over 12 parties, then I'll do it. Bruh, how is that even fair? And he doesn't just stop there. He also puts him in a team that has been giving orders. Orders that are, let's just say, not looking good for Elpam. And that's where we stop with this one. If you rock with me, please like the video and subscribe. You can even drop a comment because I like to read those and see how I can improve and stuff. Anyway, Omni Army, arise. Okiru.